the audio recording.
All right, we're rolling.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go for it. This week on the Media Virus Podcast, stop! Those Delta 8 gummies might be laced with fentanyl. Wait, this just in. Never mind. Millennials are really pissed about the Woody they saw on live TV Saturday night. And Canadian super pigs are invading the U.S. All this organizational alchemist Izzy Gessel, Maddie's TikTok nonsense corner, and in honor of Black History Month, Stanley brings us another installment of his chilling series, How to Survive Dating a Black Woman, on this 121st episode of the Media Virus Podcast. It's the Media Virus Podcast. Let's point and laugh at the world burning around us with executive producer Mike Latoris. We're going to start over. BBC correspondent Stanley McFadden.
Makes me tingly in an unfamiliar way.
Grease Monkey Pete.
Damn, Big Daddy.
Here's the thing about the Media Virus Podcast. It's really well done.
And now, spreading the sage nihilism of an aged Gen Xer, your host and mine, the star of our show, the incomparable Maddie Rockdeath.
Hot damn, do we have a show for you people this week. I am Maddie Rockdeath, the Maddiest of all Rockdeaths, and proof positive that anyone can have a podcast. Speaking of, welcome to the Media Virus Podcast. Please like, subscribe, follow, and share. I want to take a minute. I want to thank all of the new subscribers for their support and invite everyone to take a moment and head on down to the mediavirus.com and check out all the content there. You can also give us a call at 646-VIRUS-01. That again is 646-VIRUS. That's area code 646. And then you got to figure out what letters go with the numbers of virus. I would do that for you, but that's just, then I'm just giving it away. 01. You might make it on the show. Who knows? We are going to find out all about this week's guest in the B block, and we will find out what an organizational alchemist is. But he is one, Mr. Izzy Gessel. How you doing, Izzy?
I am doing really good, man. I've been waiting to be on this show for a while. So
wow, we really do appreciate that. I'm glad you're pumped. As a matter of fact, you know, one of the ways I compare this show to, it's like taking a long walk down a dark path with a bunch of strangers. You know, so we really do commend your bravery.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
And just as a gauge of where we're going, did you listen to any of our back episodes?
I did. I did. I actually listened to a couple of the early ones on YouTube.
Okay.
And then I figured it doesn't matter what's going to happen. I'm going to get no help by watching the old stuff. So I just figured So I saw the old stuff, and then somehow YouTube has you secreted in a way that it's hard to find you.
Yeah, we've noticed that. But you know, speaking of bravery, I was pretty brave last week. I mean, I don't want to go around calling myself a hero, you know, but with the knowledge that the DEA has taken a cue from the ATF and decided to make law instead of simply enforcing it, and they have stated that Delta 8 is now a Schedule 1 substance. And they also perpetrated a hoax in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, as a scare tactic to convince Pennsylvanians to ban the substance, as Delaware has. And yet, I walked into a CBD store in a mall in Pennsylvania, and I bought Delta 8 gummies. But this time, I got the ones that come like individually packed in an air bubble. I know I should have like a cape behind me. We're going to find. I'm sorry.
I know you didn't expect that. Go ahead.
I didn't expect that. I really appreciate it, though. Thank you. You know, tell us about this scare with the Delta 8 gummies, Mike.
Well, I I know that you enjoy the Delta 8 every now and again, and I saw this pop up in a news feed. I got a tweet from our local ABC affiliate, Action News on 6ABC, and it said anyone who purchased these items and still has them in their possession is warned not to eat them. And they indicated some a particular brand of, I think, Happy Cubes. So I sent that out to you, and I figured we'd do the story tonight. And then while I was perusing the news, yet a day or two later, I saw
That's
a
the
new
fun part
article.
about news and doing it once a week, though, is like your stories can kind of evolve, and where it might start out as kind of a nothing burger might turn into something really funny, and something that started out kind of funny might turn into
So
just complete
hey,
bullshit.
hey, don't do that. Turned into okay. So maybe those gummies didn't contain heroin or fentanyl after all. A big old womp womp from
Wah, wah.
the Montco DA's office. Plus, police are handing out free steering wheel locks, which we don't care too much about. But hey, now you know. But hey, now you know. So as it turns out, on Friday, Montgomery County District Attorney's Office sent out a red alert over THC-like gummies containing fentanyl or heroin. The discovery came after 2 non-fatal fentanyl overdoses that investigators had traced to the gummies purchased at Tobacco Hut smoke shops in Montco. Officials confiscated a bunch of gummies from 3 Montco Tobacco Hut shops and tested them, and voila, every major local news outlet ran scary stories about smoke shop gummies containing fentanyl and heroin. Alas, things might not be as they first appeared. Come Monday, sources were saying that the results were either inaccurate or less than definitive. And by late Monday afternoon, Montgomery County District Attorney Kevin Steele more or less admitted the same thing in his statement, declaring, "I don't have any definitive answers." It turns out that the investigators who performed the original test used some ridiculously sensitive portable equipment whose threshold for detection is 0.01 nanograms. 1 nanogram is equivalent to 0.00000001 grams, which, if the decimal place counting is correct, is the same as 1/1000th of a gram.
I was gonna now. First of all, nobody's giving out free drugs. Well, maybe fentanyl, but it's because it's so cheap. You know what I mean? But I don't understand. And that's that. When I saw that, it was 3 days after this DEA thing. So I'm surprised you can still even buy them. And then they come out with this scare.
Well,
So, but let me ask. Hang on. Izzy. Do you have any idea what we're talking about?
I do, because I'm in Massachusetts, where
Oh, you're in the land of the free.
we are overpopulated with cannabis stores. They don't call them pot stores anymore. Now that they're legal, they're cannabis stores.
No, I went into my first cannabis store. And my wife is from the Merrimack Valley. She's actually from Lawrence.
Yeah. Okay.
So and we go up there quite often. And I like to. Now in Pennsylvania, now there's a thing called Delta 8. Now I've noticed that states that have recreational legal cannabis don't know what this is. That Delta 8 it was supposed to be protected by the 2018 Farm Bill.
Mhm.
Like Pennsylvania is a non-recreational state, but you can buy Delta 8 in Pennsylvania. Delaware is a non-recreational state, but they've banned Delta 8. So I'm already, and I'm talking, I use a topical cream and gummies, and it's so I'm sure you've heard of all these things.
Yeah.
So there's this, so it's a different strain, and what the DEA is saying is because of the chemical process that goes into extracting this second form of THC out of the CBD, that's not protected by the Farm Bill. So they've, but around here, there was a scare that somebody had put more than just THC in some of the gummies.
Sounds like fentanyl, huh?
Well, I mean,
when you're using equipment that precise and that has detection down to that level, the issue is just plain old air contamination.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
that concentration could have come from somebody who had it on their
Could have
clothes
been
in the kit from the last time.
You know,
right.
it's similar to poppy seed bagels. You
Yes.
know, if you eat poppy seed bagels and go for a drug test, they're gonna fire you because they think you're on drugs.
Yo, this is a funny. All right, Izzy, this podcast is named after my first band in
Okay.
college. Okay, we were the Media Virus,
Uh-huh.
and my singer did no drugs.
Huh.
The guitar player, he did nothing. Okay, and he went to an. I was in college, but he went to an alternative high school, which was on campus,
Uh-huh.
and that's how I met the kid.
Okay.
Okay, and he had a friend who was a junkie, and asked Louis to piss for him,
Yeah.
and he did.
Uh-huh.
And the kid still lost his probation, and they start like, and he's like why? And it's like, I don't. It turns out that he ate a poppy seed bagel and pissed for, this is back in the early 90s, and he pissed for heroin and got his friend locked up. But I mean, his friend got his friend locked up technically.
Now that's a bad luck day when you get somebody else to piss for you, and that person gets
Right,
you.
they don't even know
gets
it.
you locked up. That is
man.
bad. That's a bad day.
Hey man, I'm gonna piss dirty for heroin. Can you give me some clean piss? Sure.
Sure. Let me finish this bagel first.
Pass the cream cheese.
But until we're going to see more of these types of stories pop up. It's going to happen. And the first mistake is, I'm never going to buy a product called Happy Cubes.
Probably not.
No, I'm not. My first introduction was there's two types of CBD stores. Now, Izzy being in America has no idea what we're talking about, but a CBD, there's two.
I do know because I travel I've been to Florida. Florida has CBD stores, and they're all over the place.
Yeah, so I've noticed there are two types. There is the CBD store that is like a smoke shop.
Yep.
Okay.
A vape store. Yep.
And then there's the CBD store that is like a health and nutrition store.
Exactly.
I prefer to shop at the ones that are like health and nutrition stores. Now, when they're out of stock on what I want, I have I go to the smoke shop and get.
There's a gas station you like.
No, I won't buy them at a gas station either. That's
a hot dog and a CBD burn.
I'm still looking for that gas station meth that we were talking about a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, they pulled that from the market quick.
Right.
That was actually hurting people.
But I can, who ate a whole edible before taking the stage on Saturday?
Probably Woody Harrelson.
Probably, dude. Izzy, did you see SNL on Saturday?
I didn't, but I heard about it. I heard that I got to check it out.
I am not an SNL fan.
Yeah,
I do not watch SNL on a regular basis. It just hasn't been funny enough to capture my attention.
I agree.
I have the Peacock app, and I want to quote every time we say Peacock app. But and I saw Woody Harrelson's face on SNL and Jack White, and Jack White fan, good enough, rock and roll, or rock deaf, So I popped it on just to kind of check it out, and if it held here's the thing, dude, it held my attention. It was funny the whole time, and if it wasn't, you could tell where the funny was, even if they didn't nail it. And sometimes, and just Woody Harrelson has just a presence about him. His monologue was incredible. His monologue was a home run.
Yeah.
And I don't usually.
That's what is sparking the controversy. Woody Harrelson has sparked backlash on social media after his opening monologue on Saturday Night Live. The 61-year-old actor began his segment by stating that it was his fifth time doing SNL and reminiscing on the multiple occasions he has hosted the comedy show. He touched on various topics such as political divisions, smoking marijuana, claiming that his manager, Jeremy, transported the weed from an LA shop to New York, as well as not drinking alcohol for 5 months. The Zombieland star then wrapped up his monologue by talking about a pitch that featured one of the craziest scripts he's ever read, a clear metaphor for the pandemic. which included the biggest drug cartels that forced people to stay in their homes unless they agreed to take their substances. So the movie goes like this, the actor explained. The biggest drug cartels in the world are coming together and buying all the media and all the politicians and forcing everyone in the world to stay locked in their homes. And the only way that people can get out is if they take the cartel's drugs and keep taking them over and over again. I threw the script away. I mean, who would believe this crazy idea? Harrelson joked. Being forced to take drugs. I do it voluntarily all day. The star's comments about the collaboration between the medical industry and the government to advance vaccines were widely shared online, and many people were impressed.
I don't know what to call it. I think it's eargasm.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard something and you just like your whole body just tingles and you're like, oh my God, that's the greatest thing I've ever heard. When he, because it, Mike read the concise, version of it. But if you go back and watch it, it's this long shaggy dog story. He takes these left turns, and that's where he's talking about, his manager, he mentions his manager bringing the pot over, and, it's state lines. That's a fucking big problem. I'm sure he was joking.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, you always hook up when you get to town.
No, right. I mean, who can't hook up in New York, for Christ's sake?
You're a movie star. You can get it anytime.
On demand, right? So, and then when just his look, the look on his face when he finally like delivered it was just so like, it was like chef's kiss. It was like, and then I just watched the rest of it. Like, this is great. And he talks about being vegan. He talks about, how he's not blue, he's not red, he's purple. He talks about, just he wants to own guns, and he wants to, this whole, where he's different, he leans differently on different subjects. And that's how, like,
save the whales.
Right. Like, that's how everybody should like be. You should have a different, like, just because like your party goes in lockstep with everything doesn't mean you have to fucking agree with it. And
yeah,
I mean, that's just, that should be everybody's perspective. And yet it's not. So it causes fervor. I mean, not for nothing that we've just been told by the Department of Energy. Is that who told us that the COVID, the coronavirus threat was more than likely a lab leak? The government has told us this.
Well, one organization said that it was that. The other, I think that was the FBI that said it.
Yeah,
somebody that said it. But here's the point.
But the other groups, the other organizations, they go, we're not so sure. So they don't know what they're talking about.
They don't know what they're. But here's the point. They don't know. Nobody knows fucking. And this is, look, listen. If anybody takes anything away from my show ever, it is one: you are being lied to. You have been being like, you have just, all you got to think about is Santa Claus and the fucking Easter Bunny. Compare that to everything your parents have ever fucking told you. That is society in a nutshell. You have been conditioned to be a factory worker. You have been lied to, and you are just supposed to listen. And if you don't do that, there are some goddamn consequences to it. And we have to break free. We have to stop judging each other. We have to stop pointing the fingers at each other and just try to understand what the perspective is. Yes, there are definitely transphobic people. There are people who, when you see somebody who, doesn't register the way you think that, reality, they're going to have an adverse fucking reaction. Do we need to punish them for the rest of their life? Or, can we just, isn't it a better selling point for your organization to be kind?
Yeah.
Usually.
I mean, isn't it? Like, that's just the way I look at it. Like,
you catch more flies with honey than you do with shit.
Yeah, but you catch the most with a dead squirrel. And that was a quote from Woody Harrelson on Cheers.
Baboom, you got great timing, man. I'll tell you. Did you pull that one out? That was perfect.
I appreciate that.
That was perfect.
Because anytime anybody says that because I can see him like rubbing the glass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And going, but you catch the most with a dead squirrel. And because
That character was
He
brilliant.
he had some brilliant zingers.
what I loved about the character Woody from Cheers was it was like watching my father as a younger man.
Uh-huh.
Okay. My father was from Minnesota. He was a farm boy. He never met a black person or a homosexual until he joined the Navy. Like he never experienced any, like he was from the whitest, and he was born in 1931. So being in the city, like even, he was 45 when I was born. I knew him as an older man, but watching, the same type of like folksyisms, like,
Yeah.
oh, it's raining harder than a cow pissing on a flat rock. That's one of my dads. And hotter than a June bride's breath in August.
That makes no sense, but I love it.
No, it's right. It's just the shit that my dad, that's what my father would always,
Yeah, I love it.
I did fall off a turnip truck, but not yesterday. So I got no transition for Super Pigs.
That's okay.
I was looking for it.
I just wanted to bring this warning to the fore. A special breed of hybrid super pigs from Canada have started to travel south into the northern United States. The pigs pose a threat to native wildlife and may prove tough to eradicate. And the spread of the pigs has only increased in recent years. A hybrid breed of super pigs, a mix of a domestic pig and a wild boar, is running wild in Canada. And now they have their sights set on the United States.
Dude, there's all this free food just roaming the countryside. We did a story last week about feral cattle and how they were going to annihilate them from a helicopter. And now there's free pigs roaming around.
Super pigs.
That just means they're bigger.
That could give us super bacon.
Dude,
Ooh,
bacon
super
is
bacon.
Bacon.
I can get down with that.
I'll have the super pork chops, please.
Yes.
There out here, there's something called a coy dog, which is a combination of a coyote and a dog. Because all these dogs that run away mate with coyotes. You get these coy dogs. So all these new, they talk about the species that are being extinct, but they don't talk very much about all these new animals that are coming.
There's also a coy wolf. The northern wolves have been mating with coyotes as well.
Huh.
And creating. Can you imagine getting a coy wolf dog? That would be all, dude. How cool would that be?
What?
Something like, all three of them, like a super canine.
But, you like waking up with your face. I mean, it's one of those things. But
I worked. I used to do kitchens, and we worked for a woman, and she owned a dingo. She owned a fucking dingo. She kept
the dingo ate your baby.
I was going to say, did it eat any babies?
No, and that's the first thing I said. And she said, that's the first thing everybody says when I fucking tell them. But she says, when she tells people what it is, she goes, oh, it's a dinghy. It's dingy. Right?
That's a boat.
Right.
That's
But
right.
people don't, but people like she's like, no, it's a dingo. It's a wild Australian dog. Her fucking son smuggled one home as a puppy.
Wow.
Yeah. Coolest dog. But it was a cool looking dog.
If you hold still too long, it'll eat you.
I mean, dude, this thing had to be put away before we come into the house.
Well, yeah. I mean,
The thing was, it would only liked her. But the story I wanted to tell was every few years since in childhood, every couple of years, I seem to forget two things. One, that the movie Pumpkinhead 2 exists. and two, whether or not I like pork rinds.
Oh.
Now, the answer to whether or not I like pork rinds has always been no. I do not like pork rinds, but I have to find out. But, my wife, we've been married a few years now, and she's Hispanic, and we eat a lot of pork, and she makes the pork skin, and pork rinds are made from pork skin. So I've recently been on, the pork rind kick. I've been eating a lot of pork rinds, and I'm wondering if maybe the super pig would, give us super pork rinds.
Super chicharron.
What's that?
Super chicharron.
That's right. Oh my God.
In the big bag.
That's right. It's so good though.
Originally crossbred to help farmed pigs grow larger and tolerate the cold temperatures of Canada, a drop in the market about 2 decades ago led to some farmers letting their hybrid pigs run free. Now they're running very free, according to Field and Stream. The super pigs are coming south, likely heading to Montana, North Dakota, Minnesota, and Michigan. The problem, the super pigs are proving hard to eradicate. That they can survive in such a cold climate is one of the big surprises of this issue, Ryan Brook.
That's what they were fucking made for.
Leader of the university.
It's literally the fucking purpose of fucking doing it.
Right.
Well, how is that a surprise?
Well, apparently it surprised Ryan Brook, the leader of the University of Saskatchewan.
No, we need to replace him.
Wild Pig Research Project.
He's too gullible for that job.
Yeah, he needs a new job. He needs to fire him immediately.
He probably has tenure, so he doesn't care.
What the fuck? This is the problem with the education system right there.
That's Canada. Then they're better than we are.
Oh, Canada's fucked.
Yeah.
You can't say a goddamn thing in Canada.
The cold hardiness of the hybrid pigs means that they survive well, and that means other native species don't. Brooke elaborates. Wild hogs feed on anything. They gobble up tons and tons of goslings and ducklings in the spring. They can take down a white-tailed deer, even an adult. Originally, it was like, wow, this is something we can hunt. But it's become clear that they're threatening our white-tailed deer, elk, and especially waterfowl. Not to mention the crop damage. The downsides outweigh any benefit wild hogs have as a huntable species. The super pigs have already traversed across the international border, dipping into at least North Dakota, so expect an even greater occurrence as the hybrid population only grows. Like on public transit, if you see something, say something. The Squeal on Pigs website makes that even easier.
Squeal on Pigs. Jesus Christ.
So, like, how are they getting here? Like, I'm picturing, like, 4 or 5 pigs in a group, like, chilling at the border, wearing sunglasses and, odd costumes.
I don't think they're going through fucking customs, dude.
They're not going to the regular crossings that you and I would. Out in the woods, there's those shady. They call them soft crossings. They still exist, and those are the crossings where they're.
Did you ever see Trailer Park Boys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love them. Yeah.
They used a model train. They used Patrick Swayze's model train to sneak out across the fucking.
I love that show.
Oh, Ricky's my spirit animal.
So the super pigs have become adept at fending off recreational hunters, sometimes with entire sounders, and that's the term for a group of pigs.
A sounder.
A sounder of pigs, and they're typically led by the mature sows, turning nocturnal to avoid hunters. Other times, the sounders will disperse, making them harder to locate, or change their patterns and retreat into forests or wetlands. The best strategy
smarter than you.
The best strategy at reining in super pigs has been employing the Judas pig concept, which straps a GPS collar onto a pig to lead game officials to other pigs.
Yeah, you got to catch that pig.
Deception may be our only hope.
Only hope.
You put the collar on. No, you put the collar on. No,
who's doing that, man?
Yeah, see border agents like looking at each other like, no, you do it.
Short straw. Short straw.
The most pissed off I ever got at my and I tell a lot of stories about getting pissed off at my kid's psychologist, but one of the most I got pissed at him. My youngest son has autism. And went to a psychologist every week. And my father was a farmer, and I've explained that. I already said that. So he told me, there used to be a when you couldn't find somebody, he's like, hey, where's John? Oh, he went to shit and the hogs ate him. That was a thing that would happen. A pig would eat you.
Yeah.
Pigs will bite you. Pigs will eat you. And I've told, and his mother, his grandmother owned a fucking pig. And the pig was kind of mean. They used to give the pig beer so it would sleep. They were Baptist. I couldn't drink beer
But the pig
when I
could.
lived in that house, but they had cases of it for the pig. So and the psychologist, his psychologist told him that pigs don't eat people. And I'm like, why? And he said, and so he told me, like, he tells me that after, like, so the next week, I'm like, he told my kid pigs don't eat people. He's like, oh, pigs don't eat people. I'm like, yes, they do. Look it up.
There was a movie. I don't remember which movie it was, but the guy who's doing all the killing would throw the bodies into the pigsty. Remember that movie?
Was it Hannibal or Red Dragon or one of those?
It was either Hannibal or Red Dragon. There was a whole Criminal Minds arc.
That's the one. Yeah, I think there
was a whole Criminal Minds arc, but that was based off a real that really happened, and I think it happened in Canada.
Yeah, if you throw bodies in with the slop, they're
just going to eat.
Pigs are excellent destroyers of evidence.
Yeah, they're not cooking. Like when they talk about eating waterfowl, they're not cooking and eating these ducks. They're just eating them whole.
And they chew bones as well.
Yeah, they don't care. Yeah. Speaking of chewing bones and eating everything whole, I think we've properly eaten this A block. Yeah. Coming up after this, we're gonna get into a deep dive with Izzy Gessel and learn more about what he does and
whatever the heck I do.
I don't know what we do. So
organizational alchemy.
But you can always give us a call, 646-VIRUS-01, 646-VIRUS-01. You can check us out at themediavirus.com. You can shoot me an email, Maddie@themediavirus.com. You can shoot PML, Professor Michael Torres at themediavirus.com, or just Pete, because fuck him. It's Pete. At themediavirus.com. I forgot your website is. I don't have it in front of me. What was the
IzzyG.com.
IzzyG.com. You can check out Izzy. And did I forget anything, Mike?
I think we're good.
Let's do it.
We'll be back right after this with the B block. This one.
He's about as white as it gets.
Get this saved and we'll get started on.
Are you going to play the phone call?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'll drop it in right now. I forgot I had it in line and moved it over here.
Hey, yeah, I got this number from the store manager of the Piggly Wiggly down in Danville, Virginia. I called because I need to give a corporate complaint. I was in there. I just run in to get me some scratchers in the rotisserie chicken. Okay. They had a transgender in there bagging groceries. So I run up and I say, hey, you're pretty good with a sack. I see why you want to switch. And she got her brand new titties all twisted in a knot over that. Okay. I didn't mean no harm, not one bit. Okay. I'm apple blind. Okay. I don't see gender. All I see is titties. Okay. So I like to go back in there and buy me more rotisserie chicken. And I don't know where the hell I'm going to get scratchers. So, give me a call back, all right?
Father of the Year, Matt. Father of the Year.
All right, I'm going to... Should I stop the live stream or you want to keep going?
I'm good either way.
Yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep live streaming it.
Okay. 121 weeks in a row, man.
It's an amazing feat, dude.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
It's just, dude, I've done this show from the hospital with COVID 2 weeks in a row. We haven't missed an episode.
Where do you live stream? Where's the live stream?
The live stream is at the Media Virus Network YouTube
Just
channel.
YouTube, though, right?
Yeah.
What did I set up in the B block here? All right, I'm going to play the special interview unit.
Make sure you share your screen.
I will. Getting there. And we'll just go into it directly. And that's not the right screen to share. Stop. There we go. We'll do that one. And we're back in the B block on the Media Virus podcast. And here we go. In the podcast production system, there are two separate but equally important groups: the guests who think they have something to say, and the hosts who completely exploit them. These are their stories.
All right, we're back. Our guest, Izzy Gessel. How you doing, man? How's
I'm doing okay. You know, that intro, it just got me thinking of Richard Belzer, who just passed last week, and I was really sad.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to bring you down.
It's okay.
I got to tell you, man. I'm a huge fan of Richard Belzer. We did give him a little mention in last week's A block, and right before the show, I went down. I was downstairs watching an old like season 3 of Law and Order SVU, just to kind of see Munch.
You know what's interesting, man? You know what I found out in one of his obituaries? He played that character on many shows. He played it on the show Homicide.
Yeah,
I never knew that. I thought I don't know many characters that go from show to show.
not just.
Like
I mean,
same character. It's amazing.
yeah, and it was branded like that's not. I don't remember if Homicide: Life on the Streets was a Dick Wolf production.
No, I don't know. It was a Barry Levinson. Barry Levinson.
Right.
Did.
So I mean, that's such a like to bring that character, like this character, like and it wasn't so much that character, is that I think Richard Belzer was so identifiable. He could play anything, I'm sure, but nobody would accept him as anybody. But if he were going to be a cop, he's going to be that cop.
Yeah.
And it was. I think it was Homicide: Life on the Streets. Then he went to the Law and Order SVU. But I think there were 8 other television shows in which he reprised that role.
Yeah,
and we did mention that, and how to be known. I mean, I don't think there's another human being on Earth that can. Well, there's no one being now, but nobody has those types of credits that played the same character on that many.
To be fair, 6.5 of those shows were all SVU, sisters.
Well, crossovers. Yeah, Criminal Intent. I'm sure.
Miami.
Yeah, all the goofy ones that didn't stick.
St. Louis.
The new Dick Wolf, the new Law and Order. They've reprised Law and Order. Sam Waterston's playing the DA. He's older than God.
He must be 100. Yeah.
He's got to be, man. He looks it. I think he's getting better. I think he was ill and now he's getting a little bit better because he's more stable. Either that or they have him sitting more or something like that. And he delivers his lines. He's still the actor. I love Sam Waterston.
Yeah.
I do deep love for Sam Waterston. I love the Law and Order world. That intro came from a lot of different aspects of my brain, not he put it together. I'm not, but the little like the media virus logo that looks like the Law and Order. I kind of did that one day. I just kind of like I want to fuck this, because I love that world. And losing Richard Belzer was, we've lost so many greats: Norm Macdonald, Richard Belzer, Bob Saget. All these comedic minds that I, were drawn to. These were good dudes that were dirty comedians. And it's almost like the opposite of Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was a clean comedian, but he wasn't such a great dude. The
thing about them, Belzer used to do he was the MC at was it Catch a Rising? No, the Improv, one of those New York.
Yeah.
These days, comedians, you get your HBO special, you get your show right away. You don't have to do the hours and hours and hours of driving and doing the stage show. I used to do stand-up in the early 90s. And, you go there, you're driving for 2 hours, you go to a place, they don't even know it's going to be comedy. You got to ask them to turn off the sports channel, and everybody's drinking and nobody gives a shit about what you say, because you're the opening act. And that's how they got so good at dealing with people, is that you dealt with people.
Yeah. No, I and it's interesting when some of the guys who came up through that talk about being that, just the camaraderie of working in that type of scenario with a bunch of guys who understand that.
Right? Yeah.
And you get some of these comics that you wouldn't necessarily dream of having on stage together, but you find out later on that they all kind of cut their teeth together and work together. You're like, wow, how great would it be to have those guys in the same room, because they all had this common experience of coming through this crappy system of all right, we'll wait through your song in the jukebox, and then I'm going to start, that sort of thing. 'Cause I've been there too.
And then, but you don't know which of those guys is going to steal your line.
Yeah, absolutely.
I learned something when I was doing stand up. I was really afraid that people would take my stuff, as open mics. You just all. And somebody said to me, they said, Izzy, you can write funny stuff and you can take it to your room and tell it in the mirror and nobody hears it. If you want people to, if you want to be a comedian, you got to have an audience, and somebody's going to take your stuff. And here's what really made a point to me. He said, if you believe you're a creative person, then that line that somebody else takes, you're not shooting your load there. And that really made sense to me. He said, you can take it because you're going to hear it, but that doesn't make me less creative.
Right.
And that was a pretty big insight for me.
It's funny because just with the way the conversation has been winding, I was going to bring up that I was listening. One of my favorite podcasts, and it's my morning routine, is the Adam Carolla Show. I love it. It's like a morning radio show, and I really enjoy it. And he has in the weekends he has classics. He reruns old episodes or bits and pieces of old episodes, and they were rerunning an interview with Richard Belzer, where he told a story of how he told a joke, or he was at a comedy club, and Bill Cosby came to see him, and Bill Cosby was talking to him, and he told this joke, and then 2 weeks later this comedy album came out, or sometime later the comedy album came out, and he basically heard his joke.
Yeah.
And it's funny that I'm kind of telling that, I'm going to go tell that story off of a podcast that I heard that I've kind of been using to model my own podcast. Like I kind of, not that when I've been, started doing this podcast, I really didn't have any idea what was going on. And then I discovered the Adam Carolla Show, and I was like, yeah, this is the format. This is how it goes. This is what's supposed to happen. And so sometimes there's stealing, and then there's that gift. I'm not conveying Mike. Do you understand what I'm?
Yeah, I mean, just to give an example, when we worked on another show together, we were tasked with writing a bit of comedy, and you and I kind of passed ours back and forth for opinion, and I went through yours, and it I felt like I gave you back a version that I said, here, I put what I think is polish on this, so I'm take it or leave it, but I think I made it a little funnier here. I smoothed it out over here so it flows better, and that's there's a certain finesse to telling a joke, and you can have the bones of funny, but without the finesse, it's not the elegant
Yeah.
piece. It's just the bones of what could be funny.
Right, you and I can tell the same joke and get completely different reactions.
Because the joke, once you tell the joke, that makes it alive, and every person that you bring your own character to it, or your own. That you're talking earlier about pausing. We pause at different times, so that impacts the wording differently. And the other thing that I realized is that there's certain times in the universe where ideas go along that don't belong to anybody or everybody, and they just pop up. And I'll give you a quick example. I write a weekly piece on LinkedIn for my business, and I often it's about humor and creativity. And I had this idea about a year and a half or 2 years ago. I was crazy. I was thinking, it's too bad that you have to die to have people tell you how good you are.
Yeah,
The eulogy stuff. And I figured it's really a waste of time. So my idea was, I'd heard about this gender reveal party. So I think, why not have a eulogy reveal party where you invite the people who are going to be at your funeral while you're alive to a party, and have them tell you what they're going to say. So at least you get the benefit of that. 2 weeks later, I'm watching the Larry David show, Curb Your Enthusiasm. The opening scene of the last season was him, and I forget which comedian. They're going to essentially a eulogy reveal party. And I realized it's in the air,
Yeah, there's certain things that are out there that it's not an idea that necessarily one person could have. It becomes a collective. And I like that idea too, because when you have a collective like that, you get everybody's take on it.
Mm-hmm. And you don't necessarily have to own it. The problem with people stealing it, when I was trying to be a stand-up, was that I could write something that's really funny. Somebody steals it. The next day they're on Jimmy Kimmel or something. They tell it. I can never tell that joke because everybody, I think I stole it.
Yep.
That's the issue.
That's the issue.
And
that's why it's so hard. You have to let go to say, look, once it's out there, it's out there.
Yep.
Well, you could also just, you could record yourself now telling every joke that you write,
Right.
and you can prove it and start suing people.
That's right. Yeah.
Because that's why you get into comedy.
Now, see, I have this now. I think part of the problem, though, is not everybody has. I don't think everybody has a sense of humor. I know everybody doesn't have the same sense of humor.
That's right. That's right.
What do you think about that? Do you think everyone has a sense of humor?
Yeah, I think it's if you laugh at something, you have a sense of humor. If something in your life causes you to laugh, you have a recognition that there's an incongruity or a shift in perspective, and you could see that difference. Even if it's nasty, or you're laughing at somebody, slapstick, you're laughing at some guy falling down. But I think you're right that not everybody has developed it or understand their sense of humor in a way that it's a skill set. I mean, that's what the organization Alchemist is about transforming people's abilities, of which humor is one, into recognizing how it impacts their life. So you can learn to be funnier, but you can also learn to find humor in everyday living, about overhearing conversations, the ironies that happens, the headlines that people write. Mm-hmm. That's humor too. It's just a matter of paying attention.
I personally love throwaway lines.
Throwaway line. Yeah.
Stuff that's mumbled under your breath at the
Oh
end
yeah.
of
No,
it.
we're lousy with them.
Yeah.
We really are. I had this thing that happened to me today, and it was this quick hit of I think you called it's Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude. You're happy about other people's misery.
I was happy about other people's misery.
Yeah.
And so what had happened was I came to work. I work at a shipping and receiving warehouse in a very old section of Philadelphia, which means it's very tight. And across from the bays where we deliver tractor trailers come in and come out, and we have this yard across the way to let them be able to do the K turn. And we have all these signs up and everything, no parking. Okay. So I pull in and I've got to park off street and out of the way, but there's all these cars. Like there's the whole street is just loaded, parked with cars. And I go get the warehouse manager and we're talking about what we need to do, how we're going to figure this out, because we've got deliveries coming. These cars can't be there. And I see at the top of the hill, walking down the hill, four PPA agents, 4 of them. And I'm like, fuck. For those of you outside of Philadelphia, that stands for the Philadelphia Parking Authority.
They had their own TV show, didn't they?
They had their own TV show. And there's a saying that says, the Lord giveth and the PPA taketh away. I've had many brushes with the Philadelphia Parking Authority. So there are 4 Philadelphia Parking Authority agents walking down the street with stacks of papers, and they are putting them on the cars. And I am just like, I know I'm fine because I'm parked off in the lot. They're not going to go off in the lot. So I am just like, these motherfuckers, because we were literally just talking about if we can't figure out who belongs to these cars, we have to get a tow truck and get them out of here. So then the one PPA agent walks up to me and hands me a fucking flyer about street cleaning. We're going to start street cleaning next month. And I'm like, the fuck? So you're not giving out tickets? She's like, no. I'm like, what the fuck? And I threw the street cleaning flyer on the ground. I walked back into the warehouse. Pissed me off I didn't know how to feel. It was just all this range of emotions. You know what I mean? What are we talking about? No, we're talking about Izzy. So what do you do, man?
Well, what I do is I work with teams and groups on team building and communication skills and getting along. And the programs that I use are really based on humor and improv theater. When I was in an improv group, so I went from doing stand-up where I was middle, not really good, but I ended up getting asked to teach to do some programs for humor in the workplace for companies. I'm thinking one day I'm driving to like Boonfuck, Ohio to work in a bar for $50, and the next day I'm in a pretty nice, hotel, getting a nice lunch. The drunks are much nicer, and I'm getting paid better. So I got into this corporate motivational speaking kind of thing, and I was using my improv experience, which is for me, improv is scarier than stand-up. Because stand-up, you're by yourself. If you suck, basically you say, thanks a lot, I'm out of here. If you're in an improv group, you have responsibility. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm thinking, okay, but I realized I was really stressed out, and there was a lot of relationships that you could see the improv, creative, taking ideas, building on ideas, not trying to hog the stage, all that kind of stuff. So that's what the alchemy is about. Is the alchemy means transforming something ordinary into something special. Gold, lead into gold. But that was an example. So I started thinking that people are having fun, they're learning stuff, they're playing games, and they go, oh, I didn't realize I could try to control things even if I can't control them. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm listening to somebody, but I'm not really hearing them because I'm thinking about what I want to say. So there's something, and I would ask you guys if you think this is true. When we play, we bring out our true self. You are who you really are when you play, even if you have an act when you're in public.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, no,
So
absolutely.
that's one of the things that I work on. That's where
My problem is I'm a dickhead.
well, I can't help that. You know.
No, that's literally because my play, like, even like my wife gets angry at me, and I'll go, like, I'll try it, like, I'll, I know she doesn't like her feet tickled, so that's one of my favorite things to do. So I like fucking sneak up on her and tickle her feet. I'm just playing, but it's one of those things.
It's fun for you because
it's
it is
fun
not
for
fun
me,
her.
right?
But-
It's fun
but-
for
but-
me, and I do it because I'm giggly playing. I'm just playing, but I'm making her angry. You know
Right.
what I mean?
So it's really that's an awareness you have that makes sense. So the point is, once you realize that, what you do with that information is up to you. You call it playing, and she calls it torture.
Right. No, I understand that.
But
Should
that's
see what
the
I call
realistic-
torture, though. We
You
got
know,
all the
people
what?
say just kidding. Well, just kidding doesn't mean I didn't mean what I said. It just says I don't want you to take offense at it.
Right. No offense, but you're an asshole. I hear that.
Yeah, that's one of those strange things. Like here's one I never got. I mean no disrespect.
Going
Yeah.
to disrespect you.
My mom's favorite one was, I don't want to fight with you, but you are such a fucking asshole. Then she just starts screaming at me. So she didn't want to fight. She just wanted to yell.
Yeah, right.
But now, like, when you talk about, like, putting groups together and kind of, can you teach somebody how to tell a joke?
Yes.
Because I went down this hole on what humor is.
Yes.
And I found this line that I really loved. Dissecting a joke is a lot like dissecting a frog. They're both die in the end.
Right. You understand. I think it was a Mark Twain thing, right?
I think so. Yeah.
But
I don't
everything's a
remember
Mark Twain
details.
thing. So, but here's how I teach people to tell a joke, and which is just one form of humor. Jokes are stories, and like stories, they have the essential arcs. The setup, where we meet the characters, the problem, the dilemma that they face, and the solution, the third act. In a joke, in the third act, the punchline is always the solution to the problem with a shift in point of view. That's the structure. So a setup, a problem, and a solution, where the solution is from a different point of view. Now, if you know that, then all you got to do to remember jokes is you write down the punchline when you hear a joke. That's the first thing you do. You write down the punchline, because most of the time we try to memorize jokes after we hear them, and you can't rewind because there's nothing to rewind. So people tell you this joke. I heard this great joke. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, I forgot the punchline. So remember the punchline, write it down. If you know the punchline, which is the solution, you go back. What's the problem that this solved? And who are the characters?
Mm-hmm.
And then you fill in the details. The details make the story come alive. The structure makes the story make sense. And that's why you hear the same joke over and over again with different characters.
Right. That's
It's
one of the
the same
things
problem.
I do like to do is I like to add in, like, if I tell a joke, especially to my wife, I have a fictitious uncle or a fictitious aunt. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like Welcome Back Cotter used to do.
Yeah.
Those were great. But it reminds me that I had my son, my little boy, in church the other day. And when we we sat down and we stood up to pray, the woman in front of us, she had her skirt shoved up her ass. And my son just reaches over, pulls it down. Well, this woman turns around, slaps me right in the face. I mean, she thought it was me. She fucking slammed me right in the face, right? So then I just apologized and we don't do that again. And the kid doesn't listen. So the next time we stand up, their fucking skirt stuck up her ass again. So he reached up and he went and pulled it out, but I knew she didn't like that. So I stuck it right back in.
Yeah.
A joke my dad told me.
Uh-huh.
I like it.
It's a good one.
Thanks.
And it fits the mold. It follows the
Right, that followed the
yeah.
it followed the structure of that
Yep,
joke.
the setup, the problem, and the solution. But the key is that shift in point of view.
Right.
So that's a great example, because you're thinking the kid's pulling, and then you're shifting, saying, I'll put it back.
Right. She doesn't like that. I'll put
She
it.
doesn't like
right.
that. Right. So you got the problem
Right.
and then the setup. So that's how I can
So,
teach.
so when do you go to court, Matt?
With a lot of jokes, Pete, I don't know if you understood this or not, but jokes can be fictitious. A lot of what comes out of my mouth is complete fiction. I hope people understand that.
At least according to the NDAs that he signed. It's fiction.
Complete fiction.
Exactly. But you know, sometimes it's fiction, but when you tell a good story, a good joke, there are people who go, "Are you kidding? Is that? Are you?"
People have to question whether you're actually kidding or not.
Right.
I get that question a
those are-
lot.
That is yeah, that's something you have to deal with.
That's part of being a humorist, or that's part of being funny, is that you get this reputation, and then people will first of all, your status goes up because people who are known as having a good sense of humor is to their friends, that's high level. But there's also a price to pay, is that people don't always know if you're telling the truth. And I know when I was coming in to talk to conventions and conferences, and I was billed as this humorist, managing stress through humor and humor in the workplace, people would literally come up to me and say, "You better be funny. I heard you're supposed to be funny. You better be funny." Because there's something about humor that when you promise it, if you don't deliver it, it sucks. That's why when you go to a comedian and they're not funny, it's really disappointing.
Hmm?
You don't really feel that disappointed.
Oh no, pal. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Stuck in my throat.
What were you trying to? What's the comment you were trying to make there, Pete?
Foul mouth Al.
Oh,
Comic that Pete and I both know, and yeah, no, I'm okay with him doing that.
You're okay with trash and foul mouth Al?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, right.
All right. So I'm sorry, as you got interrupted. What were you saying?
No. You. So that's you would ask whether you can teach people.
Oh yeah.
You can expand their sense of humor by making them realize that humor is more than telling jokes. It's really about looking at life and being able. My mom used to say, maybe your parents used to say, about things that we get really pissed off as kids. This may seem bad now, but we'll be able to laugh about it later on.
Oh, yeah.
That's about perspective. That means when you have a different perspective, you have different emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so you just sort of say, okay, or you laugh at yourself. You just say, I'm such a klutz.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Another quality of a joke that I tend to take with me and use in my professional life is the exaggeration. No joke works without a good exaggeration, and that's part of that's the shift of point of view. So I'll use it as a way to throw the brakes on in a situation and make somebody step outside of what they're looking at or what they think they're looking at, and at least see it from the left side instead of just the right side, or from the front, and just to shake them enough that, okay, we chuckled, we see the humor in this situation. Now we can actually talk about it without being angry.
Right, because the tension between you has dissolved from the laughter.
Yes.
This is why kids say funny things to adults, because the kids looking at the same thing you and I are looking at, and they say something, and we realize, oh, well, that's weird. It's like I have this friend, this story I tell, a 7-year-old girl, her dad comes home, goes right to his home office, girl's upset. Mommy, why does daddy play with me? He promised to play with me. The mom says, well, honey, he doesn't have time to finish his work during the day. So the little 7-year-old looks up and says, why don't they put him into a slower group? Her truth is you don't finish your work, you put in a slower group. As adults, we see the different perspectives. That laughter says, okay, now honey, he's the real. But you're exactly right, Mike, that being able to break that tension is like a reset. Dangerous though, because if they don't laugh, then
it can go horribly south. You have to know your audience.
That's it.
That was that when I was a kid, I knew if I could make my parents laugh, I wasn't going to get in trouble, no matter what it was. If I could whatever I did, if it was funny enough, I didn't get in trouble. and I didn't get in trouble a lot. Because
It became so funny.
Yeah. Well, I also realized that my dad really thinks assholes are funny. Like why can't I think of his name off? Don Rickles.
Oh
Uh-huh.
yeah.
My dad thinks Don Rickles is freaking hilarious. So that's the type of abrasive type of funny you've kind of got to be with him. So that's why one of the things I want to learn is how to soften up, because I was looking here, you talk about the 4 ways we use humor.
Mm.
And I'm very familiar with the first 2 that are mentioned, the shield and the weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Those are, those are what you're kind of my armor as a youth. I grew up as a very overweight kid, very big overweight kid named Matt. So when your name just rhymes with fat, it's Fatty Matty Bombalati. And all everything that goes with it. And I had to learn to my fists got hard, and so did my sense of humor. You know what I mean? I had to laugh my way out of some situations, and I had to fight my way out of some other ones.
Well, if you make the joke, it doesn't hurt.
That's right.
Right.
That's
the
the
shield.
thing.
Yeah.
That's the shield. If I'm making the joke, it doesn't hurt. And then if I know something about you that and I can tear into, there's my weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I destroyed a marriage that way. We both did, just because that's what when we finally learned that our child had a disability and didn't understand sarcasm, that we really had to express our feelings.
Yeah.
I really fucking hate that.
Yeah.
I'd much rather make a sarcastic comment and then exactly how I feel, and I don't really have to.
That's that vulnerability piece.
Yeah.
It's really hard. So the humor, the sarcasm or the shield protects you from that. But if you think about the phrases with sarcasm or the negative humor, there's a victim there. And if you think of the phrases, I left him speechless, I cut him down, I had the last word, I stuck it to him. All these words are essentially victory words in a fight.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we see that in the news, like, oh, somebody got absolutely destroyed. I mean, it really depends on, when you're talking about politicians and things like that. It really depends on the perspective, as to whether or not, destroyed. You said words to them. That's all you really did. And, saying words is a pretty simple thing to do. I'm sitting here doing it right now, and I'm not the smartest, I'm not the sharpest.
People buy into it. Yeah.
So how the bridge and the spotlight, I think, are the 2 that I'd like to learn more about. Can you elaborate on those 2?
The bridge is the humor that connects us. So we're the 2 of us. We're talking about a third person,
right? That's why we have Pete. So me and Mike can shit on Pete,
right? So you and I are connected, or we're in a tough situation, and we're laughing together. We feel connected, and in good relationships,
right?
Humor is in the part where people are laughing together. Think about it. If you're in a movie or at a party and somebody starts laughing, everybody's going, yeah, I get it. I'm with you. I understand. For that moment, we're connected. And that's a very strong feeling in a chaotic universe,
It is.
So it's a balance to the sarcasm, which is a one up, one down, a winner loser thing. A shield is a separation. So when we're laughing together about something, we share that perspective, and there's a certain connection there. The spotlight humor has this function to distract. So if there's a tough situation and there's somebody in the corner mouthing off or throwing out, funny words, that's the spotlight to them. They want attention. Or if there's something like, I don't know, let's say talk about cancer and it's very uncomfortable for somebody will say something that as some wise ass, again, to break the tension, but to distract. So the spotlight is the ability of humor. People use humor to either bring attention to themselves, the people we've all met who just don't shut the fuck up and think that they're just so funny all the time.
Yeah.
And
got a dig at me?
I thought it was a dig at me.
I don't know any of you beyond this, but we're talking generally. Or the spotlight is if something is uncomfortable, you break the ice by distracting it something else. So those are the 4 functions.
What's the best joke to tell at a funeral?
That depends on your audience.
All right, that's a good point. I'm sorry, I couldn't. One of the aspects I'd like to strengthen amongst my team is improv.
Yeah.
Breaking into like a quick, maybe like a reenactment of how a news story would have gone or something. You understand what I'm talking about. What improv skills can anyone learn quickly? Like how can we get started? Just kind of practice. Because you know what's funny? We have our BBC correspondent, Stanley McFadden, is not here at the moment. He shows up sometime close to 11 o'clock. You don't need to be around if you don't want to be for that. But the reason he's not here is because he is rehearsing with his improv troupe. He does improv. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of hoping he would maybe ditch the improv one week and sit in with you, but he'll be in later.
And he's brilliant.
He is brilliant, but when it comes to like the fun, like showing us the fundamentals, I feel like he's hesitant.
Yeah, I can show you the fundamentals.
It's just some quick, just maybe something. It doesn't have to be like an in-depth, but maybe some tips.
Okay, I could do that.
I know.
So the reason improvisers are successful is they have there's 3 basic skill sets that they play. You could do this sitting down too, but
I need to. I'm sorry, my back.
I didn't know.
It's killing me. I'm sorry.
I didn't know the reason.
I understand. So, I apologize.
That's okay. So the three basic skill sets that improvisers use to be successful are presence, acceptance, and trust. And what I mean by that is they learn to always be in the present. Whatever has been said or done in the past is irrelevant. They don't know where the story or the scene is going, so they have to act in the moment. The second is acceptance. Improvisers understand the difference between acceptance and agreement. This is that yes and. I may not agree with what you say, but if we're going to keep playing game, I have to accept the fact that that's what you gave me. It's the offer. I may want something completely different because in my head I want to go this way. But if you do something different, I drop my thinking. I have to respond to you. And the third is trusting the process, meaning I don't judge you. I don't judge me. I don't judge whether it's good or bad until we get to the end. So, and I have a game that I could play with you. It's called, actually, all of us could play, but let's just do a warm up with Maddie. So, Maddie, the game is one word story. All right. You and I are going to tell a story that's never been told before, and we're going to do this one word at a time, back and forth.
Okay. I heard you do this on a different podcast, and there was a theme, right?
Yeah. In fact, we can ask either Pete or Mike to give us a
title. That's what I was going to say. If Mike or Pete want to yell out a theme,
any story, give us a name of a story that's never been told before. Don't think too much. Just make it up.
A day at the track.
A day at the track. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
Would you start?
Once
upon
a
time,
I
went
to
the track,
and
I
lost
my
inheritance. Period.
I
realized
I
will
not
ever
be
able
to
face
my
wife,
and
I
should
run
away.
Period. The end.
There you go.
So then the question is, what was that like for you, or even the Mike or Pete watching? So what went through your head?
I was really nervous. I got, it was amazing. I locked up. I was just like, once, fuck, upon.
You didn't show it. It wasn't evident.
In my head, I was hearing a different story.
Right. Right. Exactly. Because you were playing along. That's one of the reasons that it's fun to do with a group. And if you, and so the question is, how did we manage to navigate all that? It came out with a pretty good little 4 or 5 line story.
Interestingly enough, Matt and I sometimes will write for skits and bits, and that's sort of our writing process.
Mm-hmm.
Not one word at a time, but
one
of us will get
section.
an idea and start something.
Yeah.
And say, hey, I left it in the folder in our writing area. If you want to look at it and see if you've got anything, and then I'd pick it up and I'd start writing, and I'd write. Sometimes you get a couple lines out. Sometimes it's pages.
Or sometimes you take it in a completely different fucking direction. And I'd have an idea of where I want it to go. I'd come back, read this, I'm like, oh fuck, what am I going to do? And have to come up with something completely different. And, but the difference between that and the one word is like, you have to not only try to, the word, you want to keep the game going. So you're trying not to use terminating words. You know what I mean? Like I was trying not to, I wanted to continue like and that type of thing. Cause I was having a good time. Like I said, I was very like, I kind of felt like I got to search for, and I noticed that I did something, you said it's a one word, and I did cheat a little bit, listen to a couple of the podcasts that you were on. And you talked about not worrying about perfection. And I said I spit out 2 words at once and almost apologized for it, but I didn't.
Well, it's good that you didn't, because here's the lesson we could take from that. We're a team. No team and no project is always perfect. So if I realized you had said 2 words, I could have said, or that was wrong and stopped it, and the whole energy would have fallen. A little stumble. We're a team. I picked up with the next word, and we were back on track. We got back in the flow. So this is the way that the alchemy works, where you can show people that what's more important in this, that this the silly rule that it has to be one word, or the creative teamwork that we're doing to build the story. And I noticed that as we started going along, there's a certain flow that comes up, because we're both sort of, back and forth ping pong. I
like
give
tennis.
you a word,
Yeah.
I'm not tied to it. You give me a word, I respond to what you gave me. And there's a certain energy that comes in from the acceptance and being present. That's the other thing that comes up. You were present, and I was present, and that's the lessons you could take from playing.
Well, that was. Do you think it would be? Do you think it would be a good idea to go around, do the same thing with everybody, or
we could? Yeah,
you guys want to give that a shot?
Yeah, sure.
Sure, why not?
Why not?
All right, cool. Pete, what you gotta? Give us a story, man.
So I went to the bar.
Went to the bar. Okay.
And that's it. All right.
No judgment.
There's no judgment, Pete. Nobody's judging you for your shitty suggestion.
There's no judgment. I was being objective. It sucks. Yeah.
Yesterday.
Went.
All right. So yeah, that's good. Good point. Let's do it. I'm gonna go. I'll go 1. Who wants to go 2?
I'll go 2.
All right. Izzy's 2. Pete, Professor, you 3.
Sure.
And Pete is 4. All right. So I'm gonna. Yesterday,
I
went
to
my
favorite
neighborhood
bar
and
ordered
body shots
for
Everyone.
Period. When
Like that's you.
The
Liquor. Oh, wait. Pete.
Drinks.
Ran.
out,
we
Hid.
Heroin. Did you say did?
Hid.
Oh, hid. Hid. I'm sorry.
heroin still works.
yeah.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
A
cop.
Arrested.
me,
and
All.
The hookers. Oh,
that,
were
In.
lingerie.
so
we
Started.
Flirting with the cop. Oh, shit.
pick
Flirting.
one word and we'll keep going.
Anybody?
Oh, whose turn? I don't know whose turn it is.
All right. Well, that's
Well,
that was fun a lot last. It was kind of a. But moving on, is there you mentioned some other games? Is there another game you could?
Yeah, there's a game. There's a game called Alphabet Game where we have this conversation, but everybody who talks has to start their conversation with the next letter of the alphabet. So let's say where the topic is bars. You know, I could go. Anytime I go into a bar, I like to sit at the corner so I can see both ends of it. Next person will go, bars are very good for meeting new people. Next person, can you tell me what your favorite drink is? Drambuie, man, Drambuie. You know, you get the idea. So
yeah, absolutely.
each person just has to start with the next letter of the alphabet. So why don't we start and tell a story? We can go in the same order. Let's say, what are we talking? Let's talk about daylight savings times coming up next week.
All the talk that I've heard about daylight savings time being eliminated, I just want it over at this point.
But I love the extra hour of daylight. It just makes me feel so alive.
Can you imagine if we had that all the time?
Damn it, I wish people would just forget about daylight savings time.
Everyone needs to forget about daylight savings time.
Forget about daylight savings time and remember that it's important to get up every morning and be energetic and enthusiastic and greet the day.
Gee willikers, that's a damn fine idea.
How in the hell are people still using daylight savings time? It's ridiculous.
Impossible that we haven't figured out a better way to do this.
Just the other day, I heard this neuroscience talk about how she really thinks that daylight savings time should be eliminated because it's better for our brains and our circadian rhythms if we didn't have it.
Kill daylight savings time.
I can't think of it. Something with L.
Say
lonely,
any- Go ahead.
lonely are the people who still enjoy daylight savings time.
Thanks for saving me, Matt.
Man, that was a good save, Matt.
Not as good as what Pete's going to come up with next.
OMG. Can we, just lobby the government to stop making us follow daylight savings time and do something more productive with our lives?
Persistence is what is required for this task.
Quit arguing about this, all right? Let's just go to the bar, have some drinks, and we can hash it out over there.
Really, I mean, there's tequila, there's hookers, there's apparently heroin from our last story. We really ought to do this.
Sure. This is a great idea. Let's go get hammered.
Till tomorrow, I'll be drunk.
Usually I don't drink that much on a Wednesday, but with you guys, I'll make an exception.
Very interesting. I didn't see you as that type of guy.
Why, I think this is a great idea, guys. Let's go.
Xavier Roberts, is that Xavier Roberts?
Yes, it is.
Zamboni driver. That's what he did. He was a Zamboni driver.
Are you sure?
Boy.
Ooh.
That was fun.
That was fun. So you can play this game like at different levels. You can go backwards, start with Z. That's a tough one. You have everybody write out the alphabet.
I had a hard enough time. Dude, I had to say the alphabet in my head.
Me too.
Every time
yeah.
Pete was coming.
A, B, C.
Okay.
Yeah. L, M, no. Or else you just pick a letter, start in the middle with P, and then you go all around. This is a fun game.
It's
really good.
It was challenging. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Izzy, thank you so much for your time today.
I love that.
How can people get in touch with you if they want to find out more about what you do?
IzzyG.com is the best way. There's contact information. People want to talk about humor. There's some articles about how to expand your sense of humor, some articles about improv. If anybody has a company they want to, have some interesting workshops. But that would be it. And I had a great time. You guys are great.
I really appreciate that.
OnlyFans, Izzy?
What's that?
I said what? No OnlyFans, Izzy?
Oh,
Oh, yeah, I don't think you could afford it.
I'm just kidding.
I mean,
Izzy, honestly, I don't think we scratched the surface.
no, we haven't. Let's do it again sometime. That'd be fun.
I would really appreciate that. I hope you had a good time.
I
We
did.
definitely had a great time. We'd love to have you back.
I did. Yeah. Just let me know. And it's really nice to meet you guys, Pete and Mike. And it'd be fun to hang out. And
Absolutely.
next time I'm in Delaware.
Yeah.
Come visit, hang out.
There's plenty of corporate customers we can try to drum.
Oh yeah, dude. There's all kinds. DuPont's here. You can.
I know all the companies that don't want to be sued, right?
You can give the people giving us cancer. You can teach them how to have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Look at the tumor on that guy.
Yeah.
All right.
Just let me know. I'd love to come back.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Izzy. You have a great day. And it's IzzyG.com, correct?
IzzyG.com.
That's how you find them, guys.
All right. And take care of yourself, Pete. Don't no more
Izzy.
no more surgeries.
No more surgeries.
Take care.
I'll do my best.
As Maddie said, you can reach Izzy at IzzyG.com. You can reach us at 1-646-VIRUS-01 or themediavirus.com. And we'll be back right after this with our C Block, where we're going to talk about how to survive dating a black woman with Stanley McFadden, do some TikTok nonsense from Maddie's Corner over there, and we've got Just the Tips 29 lined up and ready to go. I'm Professor Mike Latoris. This is the Media Virus Podcast, and we'll be back right after this.
I completely understand if people don't want to come on my fucking show. I do.
That was that I was cutting the show last week, and that was just so perfect.
Yeah. Good show.
Yes,
Definitely. It was a good time. We'll definitely have
Yeah,
him
nice,
back.
nice guy. We should have him back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if you heard when Mike and I were powwowing before the show. And this is inside baseball. If anybody's tuning in the Media Virus Network, YouTube is it still live? Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're trying to like those games. I want to incorporate those games into the C block. If we don't have a whole bunch of Stanley videos or your top 5 videos that I've been meaning to ask you if you've had any ideas about, or whatever. If we don't, I want to start playing those games in the C block. That's it.
Sure.
I am going to take a quick break, and go empty my bladder, and then we'll start the C block.
All right,
I'm going to do the exact same thing.
I'll be back.
Yay, I came in second place.
So last week on Friday, we went to doctor's appointment for my wife, and we got the diagnosis.
Oh fuck! How bad is it?
It's the broad diagnosis is atypical Parkinsonism. It's not Parkin. That's a fancy way of saying it's not Parkinson's. It's something else. They think it's
Like Parkinson's?
yes. It looks, feels, and presents as Parkinson's, but is not. Sort of like when you look at a platypus and you're like, "Hey, a beaver fucked a duck," but you know a beaver didn't fuck a duck.
Is that how the doctor explained?
No, but that's the question. That's the fucking question I asked. He says it's that's a fancy way to say it's not Parkinson's disease. I said, so you mean like when you look at a platypus, you're like, hey, a beaver banged a duck, but you know that's not what happened. And he said, yeah, that's what I mean.
That's exactly. That's how I'm going to start describing it from now on. It's genius.
But yeah, so it's they think they're calling it progressive supranuclear palsy. It's either that or MSA, which was multiple systems atrophy. The only real way to tell the difference is under a microscope at an autopsy. So we've opted to not find out right away and just kind of try and get through it.
I mean, I'd go for the easy diagnosis. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean,
that's dude.
the course of action is pretty much the same. It's live with it till you can't live with it anymore.
And then what? And
It's
then what?
the end.
I mean,
Yeah. There's no there's things that can be done to help with symptoms. We're trying a medication to see if that helps with some of the balance issues, but it may not. So
you still got insurance?
Huh?
You still got insurance?
Well, when she retired, she started to she's already 65.
Oh, she's oh good.
She's on Medicare, and
you know what? That always slips my mind. That
yeah. She's older.
Right. And I'm sorry.
No, it's a valid question. But yeah.
So I don't envy you, my friend.
No, but we're gonna get through it.
Yeah, you're tough, dude. You'll make it.
But I've been making my platypus joke at every turn.
Well, yeah. I mean, you come up with a joke like that. I don't know why I didn't tell that one to Izzy.
Wear that thing out, Mike.
Well, I know we're still live right now, but I didn't want to throw that out there live on the show. I just wanted to let you guys know kind of where I was.
Let us know if we can help.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. And to get us going in the C block, let's see, where were we? I guess we'll start with I've got dating, I've got TikTok nonsense, and I've got just the tips. Is there an order that you want to go in, Matt?
Let's do the dating first. Bookend Big Daddy.
All right.
Or do you want to go through the nonsense first and see it like Stanley shows? I don't want to fucking.
I like to bookend him. I really do. I mean, he knows what he puts in these, so
that's true.
That way, if he shows up like right at the end of it, like he did last time.
Yeah, I actually like the vibe that Deck created, because it let you know that we were paying attention, and he knew what was there, so he appreciated that we were talking about it. So, all right, and we're back in the C block of the Media Virus podcast, and we're going to get right into Stanley's latest segment here in honor of Black History Month: tips for dating a black woman. Or tips for surviving dating a black woman. Here we go.
The Media Virus Podcast presents, in honor of Black History Month, Stanley McFadden proudly brings to you how to survive dating a black woman. Don't ever pull her hair. Nothing is more traumatizing than
Problem.
Rewind.
Trying to pull her.
I thought we did 2 last week. That's 3. Okay. Well, hold on. We can fix this. We have the technology. Ding, dang, ding, 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 ding. Back here. And then here. And here.
Has it? No. No, it hasn't been 20 fucking years since Mr. Rogers died.
No, I don't think so.
I think it's close. I saw something the other day.
It's just, yeah, it was just like the WKED in Pittsburgh. 20 years ago today, the world lost a shining star, Fred McPhail.
Oh, wow. I
Yeah,
guess it has been. Did you see the movie that Tom Hanks did about him?
Yeah, it was fantastic.
I know, right?
Weren't there two movies?
There's a documentary.
I can't remember which one of the two I saw.
There's a great documentary about that's written by that was done by a guy who was an aspiring filmmaker, and he did this documentary. It turned out he knew Mr. Rogers his whole life because he lived next door to his grandparents on Martha's Vineyard. So every summer when he went to spend time with his grandparents, his next door neighbor was Mr. Rogers. So he got to know him through the years and had a pen pal relationship with him through the years, and like just amazing. It's an amazing documentary. He goes and he talks to other people that he found out had written communication with Mr. Rogers through the years, because Fred Rogers would write a note to you just because. And if you wrote him a note, he would always answer. So he had these beautiful letters that he sent to people, and some of them were just a couple of lines of, "Hey, I saw that thing you did, and it was just amazing. You did a good thing, and I thought you needed to hear that." And
I have something for Mr. Rogers related, but it's probably not all that exciting. My ex-girlfriend, I think it was either her aunt or one of her teachers in high school dated Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, by all accounts, he was just a wonderful human being.
Oh, yeah.
I grew up watching him all the time.
Yes, we did. We all did.
Yeah.
That's just 20 years ago. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It just seems like yeah.
It's still an open wound for me,
That's what I'm saying. It's still bleeding. I haven't. Or did we figure out what's going on?
Yep. And we're back on track, and here we go.
All right.
The Media Virus Podcast presents, in honor of Black History Month, Stanley McFadden proudly brings to you How to Survive Dating a Black Woman.
You better make sure that this relationship lasts 3 years at max, so you better enjoy slaying that dick now. She forgot to tell you about inmate TMVP 164684787001, otherwise known as Baby Daddy Jerome. Baby Daddy Jerome done been in jail for 10 years for armed robbery, but guess what? He's getting out in 3. And he's been in solitary confinement for all that time, and he horny as fuck. And he knows that she ain't moved anywhere since they shared that apartment together. He knows that her best friend still lived next door, and he knows where his baby mama live. Yeah, and he's coming to tear some ass up. And when he kicks open that door with a karate kick, the two of you are going to be looking at each other and begging and pleading for him to go get the other one, but it ain't going to matter. Whoever he sees first is going to get this big dick. Somebody, whoever he sees, is going to get fucked tonight. Banging this African queen may have you feeling like the greatest of all time, but the reality is, when all her baby daddies come around, there's not a whole lot you can do to fend off that ass whooping. You might as well go down swinging. You live in the hood now, so you might as well get used to pimps and hoes and crack pipes and shooting dice. But fortunately for you, I'm here to help you survive. With my help, you can survive this. Don't bother using knives. She's well trained, and you can barely spare peanut butter. Here's where you done fucked up. She caught you on TikTok looking at the fat white girls. She had to clean up the Jackson Pollock painting you left all over the computer room. Then you hired the private tutor and got kicked in the face for it. You told her you were going to the Black Lives Matter rally, but instead you went to glove with Sarah, so she tenderized your little testicles like a speed bag. Then you had the nerve to hire a brand new French maid, and you brought that woman into her house? Her body's still missing. But don't panic. Through the power of positivity and prayer, you will be inspired from on high to acquire a bulletproof vest. That's right, a bulletproof vest. Make sure it's Kevlar Grade 3A with the ballistic plates and the hardened steel core. Make sure that you tie it on nice and tight. You can beg and plead all you want, but eventually, there's not much you're going to be able to do. This woman is still going to shoot you in the fucking chest. But, thanks to the magic of Kevlar, you just might survive.
And another great showing.
Another fabulous, the chair jail scene.
Yes.
Oh, just of such a great use of perspective. I mean, he's really upped his game.
Yeah. When I told him with just the tips that I put together some elements so that he could drop them on the front and the back if he wanted to. I said, I don't know how comfortable you are or what devices you have available, but you know, if you feel it, he took to it like he said, man, this is exciting. He said, I've wanted to start doing that. So let me, yeah. And with this, he's really stepped that up. I think it just took him having to put a couple of things together to give him the impetus to realize, oh, I can take now.
It's really fucking easy. It's really easy to do.
Yeah, but I mean, you also have to have a vision and and be able to actually make content out of it. And I think he possesses all of those things. It's just a matter of watching them come together.
So I guess we're gonna walk around the corner to Maddie's TikTok nonsense corner.
That's true. I happen to excel at taking other people's content and mashing it into a presentation that we put on the show.
Yes.
And as soon as I can get it to load up, we will put it on the screen. But I seem to be having an issue. Oh, hang on. There. Of course, it loads the moment that I drop the share again. All right. So here we go. We are in the TikTok nonsense corner.
All right. With our first selection, I don't recognize. That's fine. I'm just saying I don't recognize it.
You should.
Oh, maybe.
The things that I've learned as a man living with 3 female roommates. Candles are truly the pinnacle of comfort. Food is for function, but it doesn't mean that it can't also be tasty. Also, women can drive. They shouldn't because they're bad at it, but like they're allowed to.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Oh, now I remember.
Oh yeah, I don't remember this. Huh? Oh yeah. Okay. I thought you would appreciate that too.
No, I thought that was great.
One of our little standing jokes here at the Media Virus Podcast.
Like I said, I always love the backhanded that swings around from behind throwaway line.
Yeah,
love them. Now, there are a few that I've thrown in again this week because they're sometimes.
I've seen one of these.
I believe I may have too.
It's just earlier today.
So stupid. That's so dumb. Days without thinking of her, and then it's spelled boobs 6006 5. And then he lost it.
Can I listen to this tape in Teddy Ruxpin, Mommy? Of course, Jesse.
Do I wish I could just leave my wife? Yes. If she'd take Jesse with her and get out of my life, that would be ideal. I just don't see that happening. Sometimes I just think murder is the only option.
Honey, I'm missing the tape from my therapy session. Oh, shit.
That was funny.
It's like you guys are in my head. I see these all day long.
I think we all have the same sense of humor, so we're all on the same side of TikTok. Also, the fact that we all trade videos together. Now, this lady, she started following me after I started following her.
Oh, neat.
And I dig her content, and I actually, there was some things, I don't know if we mentioned it or not, but there was a headline that she mentioned that I went and like looked up, grabbed, and shot to the.
Do you think she'd bring her giant brown eyebrows to the show some night?
I don't know.
Maybe you should ask.
We should ask.
Here are your wild headlines for February 26th, 23.
Why did she say that with her mouth full?
The U.S. Energy Department is finally admitting that a Chinese lab leak was behind the COVID outbreak. The president of Mexico has posted a picture of proof of a mythological woodland elf. A 10-year-old girl's bus driver had been stalking for her and broke into her home, saying that he was her special friend. Most 40% of all domestic tasks will be done by robots within a decade. A video shows a semi-truck participating in an illegal Oakland sideshow. The winner of over $2 billion in the jackpot only got $997 million as his payout. A model from Hong Kong has been found in body parts, some of them in pots of soup. Husband and father-in-law have been accused.
Wow.
Now, what kind of soup do you think it was? It wasn't vegetarian. I know that much.
If she was a big girl, it could have been wonton.
It could have been. Yeah, it's true. Oh, where are you starting? Where are you starting? This is a smorgasbord right here.
I don't remember which one starts it. I have to push the button. Pete's Band.
Okay.
And watch the singer.
Living easy, loving free. A season ticket on a one-way ride. Asking nothing, leave me be. Taking everything and in my stride. Don't need reason, don't need rhyme. Ain't nothing that I'd rather do.
Holy shit, that's Pete.
Going down, party time. My friends are gonna be there too.
Dude, you could have friends.
Highway to hell. Highway to hell. I'm on the highway.
You guys ever listen to the Dreadnoughts? The Dreadnoughts have an album called Polka Never Dies, which is not quite like that, but it's very, very good. Pete, well, how come you didn't tell us you were in a polka band?
I mean, I saw that. My eyes were bugging out of my head. My wife's like, what? I said, I think Pete used to be in a polka band.
The next two videos are both fantastic.
What's better than winning a gold medal at the Paralympics?
What?
Walking.
Love that one.
There was another one with the same setup to and it was
There's a whole account.
What do you call a kid with no arms and an eye patch? Names. I just thought that was really funny. I think Pete sent that to us.
I did actually send that one. I have to go watch the rest of them because I bet there's some serious gold there.
Yeah.
There's a whole, like I said, there's a whole account.
Now this, I don't know if there's any sound to it, but I'll read it when it starts. And this is just a gentleman sitting in his car with a very content look on his face. And it's a 13-second. Suddenly remembering that Dick Cheney shot the guy in the face, and he got the guy that he shot in the face to apologize. Goddamn right. That was a
I
great.
was listening to the mashup of the two songs.
Yes, that's part of what makes it awesome.
Yeah, that whole thing was great.
But yeah, did everybody remember that? Dick Cheney shot a guy in the face and then got that guy to apologize to him.
Apologize to him.
That's right. That's how fucking powerful Dick Cheney is. Ah, what do we got next? I think I'm in love with this woman. Oh, we're not starting with her.
I think I want to wait around and see if NASA's lying to me or not. I think I already know.
They're all lies. We're tired of the scientism lies, okay? The lies that the earth is round and my pink eye is contagious and that, yeah, you can't eat raw chicken and play with coyotes, or if you eat too many eggs, it'll turn you into a Jewish. Or that you can drink pee, but you can't drink the pee that comes out from the pee that you drank. But wouldn't that second pee be more sterile than the first pee? We're just tired. Everyone acts like they know everything. We know something, and there's no such thing as knowing. There's no knowing anything. Thank you. Ergo, no, it's a flat earth.
Damn right. Right. Except for the flat earth part. I agree with everything else.
I figured.
No, I know for a fact the world is round.
I think when I had to save it so that I could put it in here, I titled it Maddie Believes.
But I don't believe the earth is flat. I want to make it very clear, but everything else I agree with. But eating 2 eggs will make you a Jewish. Everybody knows that.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
What's ironic about Jesus Christ becoming a carpenter was he was actually named after the 2 words you're most likely to shout after hitting your thumb with a hammer.
I laughed way too hard at that.
Dude, it's not even that funny, but coming out of her mouth, it's fucking hilarious.
Isn't that gosh, I'm trying to think of her name.
Dude, no, let me tell you something. There's at least one TikTok with that woman in it every week. Because I love her so much. Because her question, she'll sit down with respected people and ask them the most ridiculous fucking questions.
I want to say she's the actress who played in Doctor Who, and what was the other show she was in?
All right, what's up next?
Anyways.
Oh yeah, this one I want to get everybody's.
How many kindergartners do you think you could personally take on in a fight before being overpowered? Stipulations and context. Number 1, the kindergartners are released 5 at a time every 30 seconds. Number 2, the arena is a standard-sized classroom, let's say 40 feet wide by 25 feet deep. However, the room is completely empty. Number 3, the kindergartners are unarmed. They are just going to run at you, attempting to punch, kick, bite, and scratch you. Their ultimate goal is to cumulatively dogpile on you and pin you to the ground. If they can pin you for 15 consecutive seconds, you'll lose. Number 4. You have to knock a kindergartner unconscious in order to defeat them. Once they are knocked unconscious, they vanish from the classroom arena. Number 5. You can use any strategy you want to fend them off, but you are also unarmed and you are not allowed to leave the room.
All right, Mike. How many do you think you could take?
I'd probably go a dozen before I was overwhelmed.
Well, they're 5 at a time, right? But did it give us context on
a 30-second interval?
On 5 at a time at a 30-second interval. Now, all right, so
maybe 15.
So here's with my plan, you're going to be dealing with 9 of them at once.
At least.
But here's what you're going to do. You're going to the first one that you can kind of wrangle, right? Break both his legs and leave him there, because if you knock him unconscious, he disappears. Right? So you break both his legs and you leave him there, and you get up against the wall. Now they're going to come at you. Some of them are going to try to save the kid. The ones that go running at you, okay, you kind of meet them, you grab them, get out of the way, and slam their head into the wall behind you. Because it's a classroom.
Right.
That's a cinder block.
I have a question.
What?
I have a question.
Okay.
Can you use the downed kindergartner, like said by your theory of taking out their legs? They're not unconscious. You're just taking out their legs.
Screaming and writhing in pain.
Now, use that kindergartner as a weapon?
Yeah.
Awesome.
He's not just a weapon; he's a warning. Right? There are some kids that are going to think twice. They don't.
Yeah,
Like,
look,
you might
look
have.
what I did to you. Look what I did to him.
Right. And the thing is, now that kid might go unconscious just from the pain. You're gonna have to do it again.
Yep.
And but kindergartners' legs aren't that hard to break. Okay, because what you got to do is you pick them up and you just get the waist, get them at the ham hock and get them at the ankle sideways, just track it. You might want to try both of them. Okay, and you just want to have him close as kind of like a warning and a distraction, and then you start kicking kids as just as hard as you can. But you're mostly slamming their heads into that. Now, do you think the blood will leave marks, or do you think the blood disappears too?
I think the blood stays.
I think the blood stays. So eventually it's going to get slippery.
Right. And
Right.
as we always do here on the Media Virus Podcast, I want to turn to our BBC correspondent, Stanley McFadden, otherwise known as Big Daddy, for his input as a not only as a medical professional, but, how many kids do you think you could take?
Oh, did he join us?
He did.
I am going for a smooth 30. I think I can take up to 30. I'm going to aim for 50. Now, here's my strategy. At first, I'm going to stand just inside the door. So when they come in, I'm just going to smash a head against concrete. So I can get them to dogpile up against, like, right in front of the door's entrance.
No, that's the thing is they disappear. That's part of the rules. I don't
Once
know
they're
if
unconscious, they disappear.
after they go
Right. But like, so I smashed the first one. He's not all the way unconscious, but he's fading. Second one trips over that kid, smash his face. So they start to trip over each other. Right.
That's why I'm saying break the legs. If you break, I like your idea.
Well, I've got two ideas. So once they start tripping each other, now I start stomping heads into the ground. Okay. So then once I start getting too many kids into the room, now I got to trip one. I'll break the leg. Now I'm going to pick him up by the feet and I'm going to swing him around.
See my strategy.
Yeah.
Like an old 1970s wrestler giant swing. And I'm going to use him to hit all the other kids.
But then you see, now here's the thing, because if you're only swinging him around by one leg,
You got to be
No, if
careful
he's
you
a
don't knock him out.
if he's a
Because they
fat,
can.
yeah, well, that's a problem too. But if he's a fat kid, he might detach from his leg. But then
eventually,
you could use his femur. You could if you could somehow sharpen it against the cinder block wall, the femur, and start stabbing kids in the eye with it.
True. Eventually, that kid is gonna, pass out due to, blood loss or whatever. So I'm gonna need a new kid. But I think I can get a solid 30, and I will aim for 50.
No, but if the blood stays, and I remove the kid's leg, do I get to keep his leg?
No, the kid disappears.
Yeah, but I took it off the kid.
Doesn't
Like
matter.
all parts of him, like if you like I said,
I think we're playing video game rules here.
All right. All right. Pete, how many do you think you can take?
I mean, I think I could take. I'm not as confident as Stanley, but I feel like I could take a good 25 of them, 20, 25.
2025 with just
Yeah.
full on brute. Now, would you do you think you would start going easy at first and then realize that your life is in danger? Like there's a
Oh
no, you got to
you're going full scale
You got to
death
go
machine.
full. You got to go
Right.
full tilt right out the gate.
All right.
Yeah, I got to
Well,
set an example.
As long as we're all willing to murder as many children as possible for this fictitious game, then we've got it made. Is there any more in the TikTok nonsense there?
Oh yeah, there's several more here.
All right. Well,
Why is life so meaningless?
share your screen, buddy.
Replaced religion. That is how we avoided the nihilism that Nietzsche foretold.
Yeah.
But now, as the internet has allowed for us to peer farther behind the curtain and see that the temples of our childhoods were in fact factories, people have begun to ask, what is there to look forward to when I know nothing means anything? And the answer is what it has always been: adventure, laughter, and love.
some uplifting words from Santa Claus.
Santa Claus deep fake for everybody.
Santa philosophy. I just recently got
How
a
many
haircut.
kindergartners do you think you could personally take on in a fight before being overpowered?
That one was.
Hey, what are we doing today?
Yeah, I say, give me some that says I get up every morning at 5:30 and commute for an hour and a half to some bullshit job. Or my jag-off boss expects me to kiss his balls all day just so I can afford to keep my ungrateful screaming kids decked out and Dora the Explorer shit in my wife up to her fat ass in self-help videos until the day I get up the courage to put a shotgun in my mouth. Right here. Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Thought that was an interesting commentary.
Definitely. This I stuck in here. I came upon this in the wild and I thought it was brilliant. There's text on the screen says, "Guys, I lied on my resume and got a job doing social media for this body shop. Please blow this up so I don't get fired." So I made sure I liked it, and I thought we would put it on the show in hopes that it blows up.
Yeah, like we're gonna help it. Okay. I thought that was pretty awesome. I thought that was pretty good.
Clancy's Auto Body, everybody.
It's a fucking cat dancing on the body shop.
Yeah. Clancy's Body Shop.
What's fucking wrong? Like, what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
It's genius. All right. Well, what's next? Wanks for thotching.
That's fine.
Oh my God. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
What happened?
I was running on the trail and I stepped in some dog shit. And I sat down to try to clean it off my shoe, and this guy come running by and he stepped in it. I laughed at him and said, "I just did that." He come over and fucking punched me in the face like 3 times, called me a nasty son of a bitch.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
I just did that.
That's another one I just laughed way too hard at.
So those were the best TikToks of the week.
They were.
And Big Daddy, how was rehearsal, man? How did everything go?
It's pretty good. We had shows on Friday and Saturday that just passed. So we were reviewing those, and we got a couple of new people in today, including a professional comic.
Nice.
So that should be interesting.
Very, very cool.
So we are on the verge of getting our own space, finally. We're supposed to have some meetings about it between this week and next week. And hopefully by spring, start charging tickets.
Nice.
That's right. We we had a guest on earlier, and Izzy Gessel, and he is a he
organizational alchemist.
Yeah, he teaches people how to bring improv and use improv in their daily lives, and and he gives like seminars on. Yeah, it was very, very cool, and we played a couple of improv games. We played the alphabet game, and we played the one word story that we completely fucked up because we tried to play all.
It's hard to do just one word.
We tried to play all 4 of us, and we kept getting lost. And I think
that did make the alphabet game pretty fun.
It did. Well, the alphabet game was fun. The alphabet game was terrific. I think that's going to be an exercise we'll just start playing at some point, because that was really terrific. But we just kind of wanted to let you know what you missed. All right, there you go. You missed that guy.
I missed improv, and I missed the latest installment of Surviving Dating a Black Woman.
Yes, you did. But it was absolutely terrific. And we still have Just the Tips.
Number 29.
Number 29.
if you go into those episodes, those dating episodes, there are a number of Easter eggs all throughout all of them. That some of them are just for me, other ones are actually good. Like, anyone notice the inmate's number?
Was TMVP?
Was the number?
Was it our phone number?
TMVP 1646. Yeah, it was the phone number.
It was. I did notice that it was that was the phone number. I love your use of perspective with the chair.
Yes.
I loved it. I was just like, oh my god! And I'm like, the you in that wig, you should wear that all the time. You look fucking.
I fucking love that wig.
You should wear that all the time.
Or at least have it in your pocket. It's one of those wigs that you should be able to just pop on and turn around. Oh, shit. This guy's got two personalities.
Absolutely fantastic showing. We were all mesmerized and very entertained.
And then I think that might have been the last one. I think so. The what I'm gonna do is a wrap up.
Very good.
Where I'm just gonna put a bunch of shit together and make it new, and that'll end that series.
It's terrific.
And then I'll find something else to do. I'm really having fun with like filming shit and putting it together. And
I love doing it. I have a meeting with Anthony Bosco on Sunday about putting together about doing a music video for Cthulhu Martini.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
And doing some of the videography and assembly on that work. So anybody wants to get down on that.
Yeah.
But I got to find out more about the project on Sunday. But yeah, dude, it's one of my favorites, especially since you can do it like on your phone, and it's pretty much easy. If you have, I don't know how Android works. I only know, my stuff.
I'm doing this all on the phone. Just between the native video player and Snapchat and a little bit on TikTok's video shooting capabilities, and just kind of having fun with it and figuring out how
you're doing an absolutely fantastic job.
Thank you.
But let's get into episode 29 of Just the Tips. You have that loaded there, Mike?
Yep, it's in the chamber. Just the Tips with Stanley McFadden.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Media Virus Podcast. It is I, the one and only Big Dig Daddy, bringing up to you another episode of Just the Tips. Tonight's episode 29. Now, I, as a professor of big technology, proud valedictorian of the U of V, have noticed that this past week has been notable for a few reasons. First and foremost, today is National Margarita Day, which means it is an excellent opportunity for some of y'all to have an extra margarita or two, let some of those inhibitions go, and try some things that you ain't never tried before. Maybe it's a good day to, ladies, to let that man put in your ass. Maybe it's a good day to, lose that starfish bullshit position that you've been working on for 20-something years. It's time to let that go. Learn some new positions. Get to fucking. If you're unsure of what new position to try, re-listen to some of these tips. I got 30 plus episodes, so there's easily 100 tips among here. Try one out.
Every Thursday.
Spice up that relationship. Anyway, National Margarita Day. Yesterday was National Pancake Day. So, this can serve as a wonderful opportunity for some of y'all with flat-ass pancake booties to plump that shit up. You plump up a booty at the gym, by the way. Squats, deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts, split squats, lunges, Bulgarian split squats. That's how you build up a booty. You build it up with muscle, not fat. Some fat's good. You need a little wiggle jiggle, you know what I'm saying? But as long as it's wiggly and jiggly and not flopping and sloppy, you know what I'm saying? Monday was President's Day, or as I like to call it, National Slave Masters Day. You can also call it Slave Holders Day, Evil White Devil Day. Anyway, there are a number of ways that we here can celebrate National Slave Holders Day. And here are a few suggestions. If you are a white woman, find yourself a big black dude, scratch up his back to look like whip marks, chain him to the bed, and then ride that dick into the sunset. If you're a black woman, find a white devil man, cook a meal for him, warm up his bed, and then have boring vanilla sex with him. If you're a white man, find yourself a black woman, force her to cook for you and warm up her bed, your bed, and then have mediocre sex with her for years, maybe decades, have your babies, and then deny the whole damn thing. If you're a black man, find yourself a thick white woman who's only had vanilla and mediocre sex with her slave master husband and show her you got that dog in you. 1 pump for every white president. 2 pumps for Shump. And when you bust that nut, you can give a shout out to Obama. Maybe one last one for Juneteenth. This is how I plan on celebrating President's Day, Slave Masters Day, Slave Holders Day, White Devil Day. And I hope you can join me in doing the same. This has been another episode of the Media Virus Podcast, Stanley McFadden's Just the Tips, episode 29. Until next time, motherfuckers, happy fucking.
Until next time, motherfuckers.
And before I forget again, yesterday, Tuesday, was Mardi Gras Day. Mardi Gras Day reminds me, ladies, this is an excellent opportunity for you to celebrate your titties. See, there's a difference between breasts and titties. Breasts are an anatomical appendage that your grandmother has. Tits are things that, they're there. They're not necessarily anatomical, but you keep them to yourself. We don't like breasts. We don't like tits. We like titties. Titties are fun. Titties are playful. Titties are the things that you flash for a set of beads down at Mardi Gras. Ladies, you're only going to have titties for a limited amount of time. Eventually, what once was titties is going to become breasts. And no one's going to want to see them things. Eventually, the only ones that's going to look at them are going to be staff at a nursing home. And from experience, we don't like to see them there either. So, enjoy your titties while they still titties. Show them to that man. When he comes home, flashing them titties. When you're taking off a bra, changing a shirt, turn around, shake them titties in his face. When you're having sex with him, jump on that dick, slap his face with your titties. Guaranteed he's gonna giggle like a little schoolgirl. It's just something that inspires great joy in us to get face slapped by a pair of titties. Just try it. He's gonna giggle. Anyway, happy Mardi Gras Day. Also, in the name of beads, this is a good day to not only try flashing them titties for a set of beads, but also try some anal beads. If you've never done it before, I would recommend getting a set of graduated anal beads, which means the first one is small and they get gradually larger the longer that the string of beads goes. Let the man insert the first one, and you can either leave it in for that pressure while he's hitting it from the back, or you can insert, pull out, insert, pull out, insert, pull out the anal beads to stimulate all those nerve endings in your anus. Ladies, you're going to like it. Make sure you wash your ass first. Wash your ass first. Anyway, there's an extra tip for you to round out episode 29 of Just the Tips. I'll see you next time. Happy fucking.
Titties.
Titties.
That's I think that's something we can all agree on.
Titties.
Titties. Now, speaking of, here's the thing. Staff Writer Bill posed the question and he wanted to pose it to the group, and I thought it was brave of him to kind of let us in a little bit. So he said, so I have a good question for the podcast. If you match with a girl on a dating app and she is missing a limb, how many points does it knock off if she's a 10 on the attractive scale? So if she's a 10, but she just says I'm missing a limb, and I was like, my first thing was, please tell me that you're dealing with this right now. Like, this is an issue. And apparently, I think it is. I think he matched with a girl who's missing some limbs. Now, but he wasn't like clear on like which limb, because I think like if she's a 10, okay, and she has no legs, that's like a 13.
Right?
Right? She can't walk away. There's nothing in the way. He's just kind of,
Right.
And I wanted to, I held on to the question. I held on to the question.
Just tell her to put her arm down and spin her.
Having had some experience in that arena, I can tell you that when there's not a leg there, it does open up to some very interesting positions.
There you go. From the source. If the, sometimes missing legs. Now, both or just one?
1.5.
Damn, dude, you feisty.
Like, what? Now I'm curious.
She's like a 16 and a half, right?
What caused that?
Was she? She wasn't being kept
was she in a
alive by
horrible
machines,
lawnmower
was she?
accident?
I didn't do it. Let's get that out there first.
Like she was fully conscious and not being kept alive by machines, right?
That is correct.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah. So it opens up side positions. So like that partial leg, instead of like where it would have to like kind of sit over your shoulder, can now just like sit right here, like in front of your chest. So you just move it out the way. It opens up a lot more.
Flexibility becomes less of an issue.
Exactly.
Wow. My dad often talks about like how he wants to just cut his arm off. Well, because it's in the way. You know what I mean?
I get it. And
like he had a stroke. He's he's paralyzed on one side. Now the leg he's okay with. He wouldn't mind keeping the leg, but the arm he at this point he would just rather get rid of it.
That's the thing now.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
I don't know if that's necessarily a bad idea, but he's 91. It's not like, I mean, I could take him out back in the shed.
They call it transabled now, where there are people who I felt like a blind person my entire life, so I pour bleach in my eyes. That's a thing. It's happening.
No, I know, but I don't think my dad's really, well, maybe he is. Who the fuck knows? But like, just him getting in and out of bed and doing shit, just having this appendage that just fucking.
This is in the way.
Yeah, it's in the way.
I could function better without it.
Also, a woman who only has one arm is probably going to be a lot more obedient than a woman with two arms.
That's true.
Because she can only block the first shot. And I got two hands.
Well, I mean, as long as she ain't deaf, you'll be fine. What's wrong with you?
What you do is you tell you what to hold hands. Then when you're holding hands, then you come around with them.
You get really, honey, can you hold this? Thank you.
Yeah, there it is.
All right, so we don't think that missing appendages takes any score off. Is that what we're saying? That it can be?
I think the sexual and comedic possibilities really open up a whole new world.
And the comedic sexual possibilities, don't forget. I mean, you can combine the comedy and the sex. It's my wife sent me this picture of how she wants to remodel the bathroom, and everything is green. The tile's green, the walls are green, everything's green. I'm like, oh, that's great. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, we can make videos of us taking shit on the moon. And then she's like, and then she's like, she sent me a bunch of emojis to say that she was dissatisfied with what I said. Right. So I tried to fix it. I'm like, well, it doesn't have to be the moon, you know what I mean? It could be a Miley Cyrus concert. It could be, we could put it in the middle of traffic. I can stick it on top of a cloud. We can do whatever you want.
Anywhere you want to be.
And I'm like, well, we'd have to actually Photoshop, because the toilet was green, so the toilet would disappear too.
Right.
So we'd have to Photoshop the actual shit in, which would make it funnier.
Or something to be the toilet. Like you could just put yourself on somebody's lap.
Yeah. There you go.
Or sitting on their head.
It's true.
You could shit on a number of different things.
But I think
shit on anything you want.
I could stick shit where I want. Taj Mahal, boom. Vatican. Here I am at the Vatican taking a shit. I think it's I thought it was a great idea. However, I think she's changing her mind.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure your bathroom's not going to be green.
No, I'm pretty sure she knows I'll do it too. That's the
funny thing is, my friends just finished painting their bathroom green. What do you think I'm going to send them tomorrow?
Getting around the world.
Yeah, I'm going to send them an anonymous text.
I say we just all go to your friend's house and make our own videos.
Ooh.
Without telling them, and it's going. So we got anything else, Mike?
No, we've really run the course.
Well, that's usually what happens towards the end of the night. So I want to thank Izzy Gessel for coming on. He was or Gessel. Izzy Gessel for coming on. He was absolutely terrific. You can check us out at themediavirus.com. Spotify app, anywhere you get podcasts, you can find us. There's the YouTube thing. If you might be watching that right now, I don't know what you're doing right now. Well, if you're watching this right now, then I know what you're doing right now. But that right now is going to be different than this right now, because if you're not watching it while I'm making it, that means you're watching it right now as a whole. So you can give us a call at 646-VIRUS-01. That's 646-VIRUS-01. Check us out on the MediaVirus.com. Did I miss anything, Mike?
Well, you could remind everybody that if they wanted to get in touch with Izzy, they could find him at izzyg.com.
That's true.
His website is izzyg.com. He does he will come and speak to your group about how to integrate comedy and improv into your daily life to make it better.
I tell you what, I feel like I know more after talking to him, and we're going to have him on again. It's going to be awesome. But until then, let's get out of here.
Until then, on behalf of Big Daddy Grease Monkey Pete and our fearless leader, Matty Rockdeff, I'm Professor Mike LaTorres, coming from to you live, high atop Uncle Butch Studios. This has been the Media Virus Podcast, episode 121.
He's about as white as it gets.
And that's it. And
who is the host?
First the perspective in your Just the Tips leads me to
Mhm.
believe that you should shave the line down from your take the beard off and just leave the sideburns connecting down to your mustache.
Mhm.
Basically, take it off where the line where the gray starts. Just take everything off below that. Just leave the mustache. I've rocked that look before. It's interesting, but I think you've got something going on there that it would really pop.
I've probably done something like that earlier. I've done some
Yes.
crazy shit with my